jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch that don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch that don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. They shooting in the parking lot, everybody get low. They shooting in the parking lot, they ain't where you wanna go. Now stand by soldier, and let the work your motherfucking ass like I told you. Stand by soldier, and let the work your motherfucking ass like I told you.
Let's get started. Let's get up. Let's get down. We're here, guys. We're here. Let me brighten things up a little bit. How's everybody doing? How's everybody living? We good? We up? We nice? What's up? All right. Welcome. I want to thank each and every last one of you for tuning into this multi-million dollar stream. I am Kev Prosper, the owner and founder of Prosperity ULLC. Where's my... I hate how slow my computer gets when I stream, y'all. This shit just... Oh, my God. There we go. You are tuned into Love and Money, the podcast of Prosperity ULLC. Thank you for contributing to the Cash App above, $ Prosperity ULLC. Thank you for visiting the website below at prosperunlimited.com. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following, and sharing. Remember, we do this every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And remember to invest in the brand Prosperity ULLC. Build wealth, travel boldly, live royally. Yes. Come on. There we go. Takes us some time to figure things out, you know what I mean? But we here, we get it. All right, let's get the rocking and rolling, guys. We're going straight to the business. So what we talking about today? NFL? No. Disgusting work. Disgusting NFL. We can't have that. We can't have this. We cannot allow this NFL. I'm gonna give another one. I gotta give another boo. This is just disgusting. Let me get to where's my talking points, y'all. I took notes for today because there's so much going on in this. Like there's so much going on in this, and like nobody saw this coming. And I want to be the octopus and just touch on every point. I've been gathering thoughts and gathering takes from all sorts of internet personalities, and listening to podcasts on this, and just gathering. I've just been gathering, and I want to package this into a nice, you know what I'm saying? I want to package this nicely. All right, so we're gonna go what, why, who, and how. We're gonna talk about what happened, why it happened, or why we think it happened. Then we're gonna talk about who's to blame, and then we're gonna talk about how is this going to work? How is this gonna play out in the future? You know what I mean? Or how is it playing out now, and how is it going to play out in the future? Shout out to Sweet Rose of Sharon. Yes. She's so sweet. She is so sweet. Amen. Shout out to her. So let's talk about this. So the Shedeur situation. Now, even if you don't follow football, you had to have gotten wind of this. You know what I'm saying? It's just disgusting work. It's disgusting work. So he was rated the second top quarterback in this draft, in a draft of low QBs, right? And so if you're rated the second quarterback in a draft, in a draft of bad QBs, or just not too many or not very good QBs, right? Okay, cool. And then you go 5th round. Typically, most people after the 3rd round, you're pretty much a free agent, or you might get cut in camp. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it is when you after the 3rd round. It's mainly just undrafted free agents or just drafted free agents who get cut in camp. You know what I'm saying? That's how real the NFL is. So now So then he gets drafted 5th round to a team where he's 5th on the depth chart. I researched this. Was it last night? I was my video game stream last night. I was researching this. So let me see if I can pull it up. Give me a second. Where is it? Come on, hurry up. This is so grueling. All right, where are we? Can I get my whatchamacallit, my chat history? What is wrong with this thing, y'all? Oh, it doesn't pop up when okay, that's fine. All right, so let's see, where are we? Browns 2025 draft picks, yes. So this wasn't, so Saturday I was researching this. No, it's not here. Why? Oh my God. This is driving me nuts. Come on, not while I'm streaming, bro. All right. Why does it keep lagging? Okay, so the Cleveland Browns. So let's see. The Cleveland Browns picked in round 1. They had the 5th pick. They picked a defensive tackle. In round 2, they picked a linebacker, and you know Cleveland has always been a defensive team, so that makes sense. And then in round two again, in the 36th pick, they picked Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State. Wait. And then they got him from the Jaguars. And then round 3, they picked a tight end. Round 3, the 94th pick, they picked Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. I heard he was trash. The round four, they picked a running back. Okay, Cleveland's been known to be a running team. They play a lot of old school football in Cleveland. They believe in that. Round 5, and then round 5, they finally picked Shedeur, and then after that, round 6, they picked. Oh well, I don't know who they picked in round 6. It probably doesn't even matter at this point. So here's the Cleveland Browns depth charts. Kenny Pickett, who they got from the Eagles. I was talking about this on my stream. They got him from the Eagles. Joe Flacco is second. So Kenny Pickett is right now the starter. Joe Flacco is second. Joe Flacco is a Super Bowl veteran. Dylan Gabriel was the one they drafted. I don't know about the other quarterback who they drafted. He must have got shifted off somewhere else. But Dylan Gabriel is in the depth chart. He's a rookie also with Shedeur, and he's ahead of Shedeur in the depth chart. Like come on, can we get any more disrespectful? and he was rated worse than way worse than Shedeur, almost double worse. And then Deshaun Watson, he was the great quarterback for the Houston Texans. Went to Cleveland. So Cleveland is kind of like the Raiders of the East of the NFC or whatever conference they're in. That they're like the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? It's like Cleveland. If you end up in Cleveland, like you better start like updating your resume. You know what I'm saying? It's bad. They went to they made a playoff appearance a few years ago, but that was a few years ago, right? The NFL don't work that way. So yeah, it's really that bad. It's really that disrespectful. It's really that disrespectful. You the number 2 quarterback, and I'm not the first to harp on these talking points. You got a worser rookie drafted before you. And I feel like the fact that he's already a millionaire, the negotiation. And this is another thing. When I talk about who's to blame, I was gonna blame the owners and the GMs, but maybe the agent is to blame too. That's another thing. So yeah, they drafted a worse rookie before him, and what I was thinking was, okay, maybe they felt like they can't afford him. Because he's already a millionaire, he's already a millionaire, and then he's coming in and rated as the second best quarterback in the draft. He's probably going to ask for way more money than what they can afford to give him, right? Or what they want to give him. Way more money than what they want to give him, right? So he goes to the Browns. And no one wants to play quarterback for the Browns. Two of the biggest names within the last maybe 10 to 15 years I remember going to the Browns was Johnny Manziel and Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn was like this god-bod Notre Dame quarterback. Heisman. I don't know if he won the Heisman or he was a contender. I remember him, and it's wild because he's a few years younger than me. That's crazy. But I still remember him playing. This was back when I like somewhat followed football. And then of course Johnny Manziel, Mr. All of that. And he goes to Cleveland and he busts. You know what I mean? So like no one wants to play for Cleveland. No one wants to play for Cleveland. So now he goes fifth. He gets drafted fifth round. You know what I'm saying? He comes from an elite pedigree. You know what I mean? Undeniable what Shedeur Sanders has done for football and has done for what he's done for football and what he's done for the NFL and for every way. He has this Midas touch. He just has this Midas touch. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere he goes, he makes better. You know what I mean? And I think that has one. It's talent. It's a lot of. Much of it is God given, but then also. It's undeniable his discipline. You know what I mean? Like I remember I watched. Excuse me. I remember watching his interview with Shannon Sharp, and he talks about getting up 4 a.m. and how much discipline it takes to get up 4 a.m. for a job. Like what? there's only so many jobs that require you to get up 4 a.m. Like what? A cook, a chef, a cook. You know what I'm saying? What? A landscaper, a roofer. Like what else? You know what I mean? Like it takes a lot to get up at 4 a.m. You know what I mean? If you ask me. You know what I mean? So he comes from an elite pedigree. Someone like Shedeur Sanders, you know what you're getting. So when you talk about his kid, you know what you're getting. You know what I mean? He's already a millionaire from his NIL deals, and there's no off the field drama. You know what I mean? You look at a lot of these athletes, like even Travis Hunter. I mean, he got some internet drama really, but it's no really. I mean, it wasn't really necessarily off the field drama. It's just. The fellas just looking out for the young boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, like she wildin', bruh. She out here, bruh. Like, you need to, you know what I mean? That's another conversation too. Him coming back to Jacksonville? Nah, I don't. Nah, he need to go to. If he'd have got drafted, if Travis Hunter would have went to the Broncos, I would have been glad. I'd have been like, yes. But now he's going back to Jacksonville, bro. Like just don't bring that girl. Don't be Travis Hunter and have a girlfriend like that and bring her back to Florida. No, don't do it. No. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Say it ain't so, Travis. Say it ain't so. You know what I'm saying? But that's another conversation. So, but Shedeur has no off the field drama. You know what I'm saying? He's well off for himself and by way of his dad. You know what I mean? And how is that a minus? How is that a minus? You know, this reminds me of the guy Myron Rolle. You know, he was the safety for the Steelers, and this guy, he went to Oxford. You know what I mean? Like, he went to Oxford, and he chose to go to the NFL. He was like, oh, I can go to the NFL? Sure, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like this guy, and now while he was in the I think while he was in college or in the NFL, he was studying to become a brain surgeon. Crazy. Like, what the fudge? Like, what? You know what I mean? And you know, he got a lot of hate. He got a lot of you know, he's too good of a role model. You know, the way I see it, it's too much like Wright. He's too good of a role model. Like Jaylen Brown on the Boston Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Too much like Wright. Too good of a role model. We don't want young black boys in the ghetto looking up to him. Come on now. Intelligent, well spoken. You know what I'm saying? Like, educated. What? Oh no. Oh heavens no. So once again, someone like Shedeur, you know what I'm saying, well off for himself and well off by way of his dad. Elite pedigree. You know what I'm saying? Elite performance. You know what I mean? We don't want these black boys in the ghetto looking up to that. No. Oh heavens no. Right? Because who are little black boys in the ghetto looking up to? Are they looking up to corporate CEOs? You know what I'm saying? Are they looking up to multimillionaire mogul CEO entrepreneurs? No, they're looking up to rappers, athletes, and entertainers. Athletes and entertainers. That's what they're looking up to. You know what I mean? And so, if that's what they're looking up to, and then someone exemplifies that in a classy way, in an upscale way, not just, oh look, mama, I made it. You know what I'm saying? By way of privilege. You know what I'm saying? By way of status and eliteness, right? You know what I mean? If that's what young black boys in the ghetto are looking up to, oh no, we can't have that. No, not in the NFL. No, heavens no. Right? You know what I'm saying? So this is to me, I think that's kind of the big play on the macro end of it. That's the way I see it on the macro end of it. So now let's look at, so that's what happened, right? Let's look at why we think it happened, why we think it went down like this. So I think the primary part of this, because there's plenty of college players who may or may not be multimillionaires, but are well off by way of the NIL deals, and who are entering into the NFL, you know what I'm saying, coming into the NFL and the NBA, you know what I mean? So it's really not so much that he's well off per se, you know what I mean? Or he feels, or he gives off an air whereas he doesn't need the NFL, right? I don't think it's deeper than, I think it's deeper than that. I think a lot of it has to do with his dad. You know what I mean? Once again, that Midas touch. Everywhere he goes, he makes better, right? Everywhere he goes, he boosts up. You know what I mean? And he brings success in a way that he brings success to an organization and a franchise and an entity that no one has ever seen before in that franchise, organization, or entity, right? And see, now this with this kind of I don't know, I'm looking for the word, with this kind of example that they tried to make of his son. I think this quells the talk of him ever coaching in the NFL. Maybe under a different regime, maybe under a different set of owners and a different set of good old boys, right? But like him coaching in, like, would you, like, if they do your son like this, would you really want to coach in the NFL? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and so I think a lot of this, what they did to Shedeur, had to do with his dad, and the legacy that he left in the NFL, as well as the legacy that he's built up for himself coming to Colorado, you know what I'm saying, and kicking over a lot of sacred cows, and like I said, bringing success to a place where they haven't seen it before or haven't seen it in a long time. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I guess that triggers people. There are a lot of successful people with I wouldn't say loser mentality. There are a lot of successful people with loser mentality, but then there are also a lot of successful people who are insecure. They're insecure. They see other people's success as a threat to theirs. They see themselves as they're like makeshift gatekeepers. Well, I'm rich, I'm powerful, I'm in this position, so I must be a gatekeeper and make sure that no one else gets at least to my level, because if they're at my level, then that's a threat to me, because they can be that means they're capable of being better than my level. Like, some people are just that insecure. Their success or their security comes from their external. That if you want to be deep and spiritual and esoteric, we can go there. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. But their success, a lot of successful people's success comes from their external. They measure themselves based on what other people call successful, as opposed to what they call successful. They really have no identity outside of their own success, or outside of their worldly success. Let's call it that. And so yeah, this was a very, very nasty play, and I think they saw the LeBron and Bronny situation. The NFL looked at the NBA and they saw the LeBron and Bronny situation, and they were like, "Oh, hell no." and see, this is what I wanted to touch on. The whole NFL plantation concept. Let's go there. First of all, we must bear in mind that the NFL caters to a way different demographic than the NBA, right? As far as sports and entertainment is concerned. Let's touch on that. You know what I mean? The NBA's demographic. First of all, we like the majority of the NFL and the NBA is black, right? Okay, we get that. But the majority of America is not black. Let's keep that a bean. You know what I mean? And so that kind of lopsided misrepresentation, there's a lot of layers and factors to that. We're not going to get into the history lesson on that. Let's leave that where it is. But the NFL can be very much a plantation because of the demographic who they cater to. The NBA is more global. The NBA is more flashy and, pizzazz and savoir-faire, whereas the NFL is very conservative and reserved and very the NFL is a lot more conservative. You could say the NBA is more Democrat and the NFL is more Republican, right? Just to be funny. But but yeah, everybody remembers the famous line in the TV show Entourage, where the agent, the lead agent, he tells the secretary, "Hey, we got some NFL guys coming. Button up your collar, button up your blouse. This isn't the NBA, right?" You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody remembers that. And so they cater to a different demographic. They cater to the more conservative, middle America, white demographic. Let's just keep that a beam. You know what I mean? And not only do they cater to that demographic, but it's also run by a lot of that demographic too. You know, most of these franchises and like, we're seeing this influx of black quarterbacks. We're becoming more comfortable with the idea of black quarterbacks, but we know what that's about. They can't deny they want more white quarterbacks, of course, but they can't deny the necessity for athleticism at the quarterback position with the way the game is changing and the way the plays are being called. So I don't want to get technical in the football weeds with that, but you know, yeah. So we know what that's about. But a lot of organizations, coaches, you'll be hard pressed to find black coaches, like from the head to the assistants on down, GMs. It's just black owners, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's another level. You know what I mean? When you start talking about the money, things get different, right? You start, you know, things get different when you start getting into the money. So yeah, so it's very much an unusual or unpeculiar thing to see more and more black people moving into spaces where they weren't before. It triggers people's insecurities. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's so much racism. It's not necessarily racism. It's more so just insecurity. I think that's really what it is. And so when I talk about the NFL plantation, it's like they're seeing things that they're not used to seeing, and so this is their way of pulling strings to say, hey you, stay in line. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess up the natural order of things, right? This is what they're doing. When they saw LeBron and Bronny, they was like, oh hell no, don't mess up the natural order of things. You know what I mean? It's not so much racism. It's not so much racism. It's insecurity and inferiority. You know what I mean? Like, and then the what LeBron and Bronny and what Dion and Shedeur are pulling, they're pulling a them on them. Let's call a spade a shovel. Because think about it. Like, how many workplaces have you been in? You know what I mean? Where you know, you see a woman, an incompetent coworker, and you know that she's the boss's niece, or you know what I'm saying, or even someone the boss's daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you sitting there on your keyboard like, this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, right? and you saying to yourself like, damn, like, why can't my dad own the company so I could get in her position? Well, your dad is facing this socioeconomic hurdle, and you know, so on and so forth. And your dad he's trying, he's making moves here and there, but he can only do but so much because A, B, and C, and X, Y, and Z that are out of his control. And so, no excuses. You know what I'm saying? If you don't grind, you don't shine. Faith without works is dead. We get it. But you can't deny the power of nepotism. You know what I mean? When you're looking at somebody incompetent and unqualified, and you're asking yourself, how the fuck did they get here? You can't deny the power of nepotism. You can't deny it. So let's not act like it's not a thing, right? And so when you're comfortable with things being a certain way, when you're comfortable walking into a room and seeing these people, or when you're comfortable with making this deal with these people, and now you're making deals with these people and you're walking into rooms with those people, it's like, what the fuck's going on? Who invited y'all to well, they don't have cookouts. What do they have? They have shindigs, right? Who invited you guys to the shindig? Right? And this is what's happening. People like Dion and Shedeur and LeBron and Bronny are pulling a them on them. Let's call a spade a shovel. And then also why this is happening. You know, they talked about how, you know, Dion in maybe a year ago previously mentioned how, my son is not gonna go somewhere where I don't want him to go, right? Which, as a father, you know, you should, right? But then sports politics, the way sports politics play out, you don't want to say that out loud, right? But then I think someone like Dion is going to kick over that sacred cow, and the way he sees it is like, well, if you said it, would there be a problem? Why is it a problem when I say it? It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck them, right? Right? So yeah, why is it a problem? So then, you know, the NFL plantation is saying, no, you're not gonna pull a us on us, right? So let's twist it. Let's twist this around and you know, make phone call after phone call and pull string after string to get you to drop to whatever place you need to drop, which happened to be fifth round, right? Let's pull all of them strings. If we're gonna send you to the 5th round, and we're gonna send you to the Browns. And this is all because of who your dad is, right? Yeah, take that, right? And so now, what is their intended desire for Shedeur to take it as? Oh, well, my dad got me fucked up, so I should turn against my dad, right? Wrong. No. If anything, it's probably going to bring him closer to his dad. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so once again, the worst thing an insecure person wants, a successfully insecure person wants to hear is, "I don't need you," or not wants to hear, but the worst thing he wants to come across is an air and a bravado of "quote unquote" "I don't need you." That's the worst thing he wants to come across. You know what I mean? They try to make it seem like if he were to be an NFL quarterback, he would be about himself and not the team, because he's Deion Sanders' son, and Deion Sanders was a diva, so he must be a diva too. Ooh, like ooh, right? He just wants to play in the NFL. He's not really thankful to be in the NFL. He doesn't kiss the ring. Like, oh, how dare he? Right? And then another thing is, first of all, he has no off the field drama that we know of, right? Okay. So why would he bring publicity drama to your organization in your locker room? Like, how does that work? What sense does that make? No, that's not what it is. You know what I mean? And in spite of it all, like you saying he's a diva, but and Mace said this. I'll give credit to Mace when he said this. You saying he's a diva, but you fucked with him in the draft and dropped him the fifth round, and he maintained his poise as those cameras were on him round after round, day after day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so where's the diva in that? Thank you, Mace. Mace said it perfectly. You know what I mean? And so they're kind of trying to build a story around him and create a I got it out the mud type of situation. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing this panning out as. Who's to blame? So you got the owners and the GMs, and you got the agents, and then you got the coaches. I'm just looking at this in a hierarchy of who's to blame, right? And then lastly, you got Dion, and then you got Shedeur. Who's to blame? So, okay, how can we blame the owners? So at every hierarchy, everybody has different fears, right? So the owner is like, His fear is my yacht, right? The GM is like my job. The coach is like my job, and then the agent is like my client. You know, so everybody has different fears on different levels. The owners, they don't really, you know, their reality is different. These guys are multimillionaires and billionaires. They don't really care about us as fans. Fans and spectators and so on and so forth. They don't really care. They care about their bottom line, and is the payouts gonna come to their trust funds and in their investments and things like that, and that's all they care about. Is this profitable, right? The GM is trying to say, you know, he wants the GMs are saying, is this profitable as well? But you know, they want to make sure that it's profitable so that they can keep their job. Whereas the coach is like, how is this going to translate on the field? He's not thinking, is this profitable so I can keep my job? The coach is thinking, are we going to win so I can keep my job, right? And so with all of these people, with all of these fears and priorities that these people in different levels have, why would you not want someone like Shedeur? Someone who's ranked second in the draft amongst quarterbacks in a low quarterback class draft, right? Someone who comes from an elite pedigree with no off the field drama, right? If you're an owner and all you care about is your profit, why wouldn't you want Shedeur? If you're a GM and you're an owner and all you care about is your profit, so you can keep gas in your yacht, why wouldn't you want Shedeur? If you're a GM and all you care about is can we make a profit so I can keep my job, why wouldn't you want someone like Shedeur? If you're a coach and all you care about is can we win so I can keep my job, why wouldn't you want someone like Shedeur? You know what I'm saying? Like at all of those levels, why wouldn't you want someone like Shedeur? And then I was looking up also the other night, I was looking up how many teams actually need a quarterback. I just got word that Russell Wilson left Pittsburgh. Like, what? Are you kidding me? So hold up. Why does the ChatGPT like get stuck scrolling, bro? Like, what is this? Teams in urgent need of a quarterback. The New York Giants, despite signing veterans Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson went to New York. The Giants lack a long-term solution at quarterback. The Las Vegas Raiders traded 34-year-old Geno Smith, who has a 1 year remaining on his contract. The Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford, and these are big names. These are like very memorable names. And Jimmy Garoppolo are both on short-term deals. New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr's shoulder injury cast doubt on his availability. And then, of course, the Cleveland Browns. And then the Cleveland Browns got that nasty depth chart. And then the moderate QB, Aaron Rodgers went to Pittsburgh, nearing retirement, and Russell Wilson don't play for them anymore. And then the Jets released Aaron Rodgers and just signed Justin Fields. So like there's a good handful. Let's say what's that about? Maybe that's 7 teams, 7 different teams that need a quarterback. You know what I mean? And then y'all are playing around. Y'all are playing around. So somebody pulled a string. Somebody made several phone calls. Somebody or some people made several phone calls. This had to have been a concerted effort. They said that it had to have been amongst a group of people who said, "Yo, we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna botch this draft intentionally, purposefully, and just be as nasty as we can be. We're just gonna just fudge it up." You know what I'm saying? We're gonna shit the bed with this one, and we're gonna send a message, and we're gonna maintain our insecurity, right? And so how's this gonna work going forward? So now even Trump called this out. Even Donald Trump, and you know Donald Trump, he's very very much so with the shits. And the president called us up like, yo, what is this tomfoolery? What is this fudgery going on in the NFL draft? Like, what? Even he called it out. And if you don't know, how high or low you go in the draft also determines how much money you can negotiate in your contract. That's a thing too. So that's another way. That's another way they shot at his pockets as well. And then so now going forward, they're saying okay, him being okay at Colorado under his dad, he's under his dad's covering. Okay, cool. But now that he's going to the NFL, his dad can't cover him anymore, right? I don't quite think so. Someone like Deion Sanders being who he is, I'm sure he can make phone calls the same way they can make phone calls. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he can pull strings the same way they can pull strings. Yeah, his dad, and as long as his dad is successful in Colorado, he's always going to be he's always going to have his hand on his shadow is always going to be on his sons. You know what I mean? Period. You can't deny that. You can't take that away from him. Can he get out of Cleveland? I want him to get out of Cleveland. Just please get out. But a part of me wants him to get out of Cleveland, but then another part of me wants to say, "Yo, stick this through, at least for this season. Sign a short-term contract, stick this through, and then enter free agency your second year." I think that would be healthy for someone like Shedeur. You know what I'm saying? Stick it through, even if you don't start. He should. I do feel like if he stays in Cleveland, by the end of the season, he's gonna become a starter. I do feel that. That's this. I'm predicting that. That's the Kev Stradamus right there. If he stays in Cleveland, by the end of the season, he will be a starter. Simply because the way that roster looks, Joe Flacco, OG, veteran Super Bowl winning quarterback, you know what I'm saying, hasn't had the best career as of late. You know what I'm saying? Deshaun Watson, great quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Clemson ball. You know what I mean? Salute. Great quarterback, but injury prone, and then he has off the field drama. You know what I'm saying? So no. The quarterback that they drafted ahead of him and put him ahead of him on the depth chart, no. You know what I'm saying? So who else? And then what was the guy's name? Kenny, whoever they got in the first string, no, right? If they give Shedeur a shot, you know what I'm saying, by the end of the season he's gonna wind up starting. You heard it first. And then see, that's the thing. Putting him second to last in the depth chart, you know what I'm saying, on a team like the Browns, you know what I mean? First of all, he played in Colorado. They didn't have the best O-line. You know what I mean? Let's keep that a bean. So he's used to playing under adverse situations, right? So who's to say? I mean, yes, the NFL is a different league, but who's to say that doesn't translate in the NFL, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, you can't tell me any different. You can't tell me any different. So yeah, I want him to get out of Cleveland. I do want him to get out of Cleveland and get to one of those teams that do need a quarterback. But all in all, I want him to be in the best situation. If Cleveland is the best situation for him, if Cleveland is a life lesson for him or a career lesson in football for him, let it be. You know what I'm saying? I do not go against God. You know what I mean? But for the most part, just by the looks of it, Cleveland is not a good situation for him, and this depth chart and this draft is not a good situation for him. How does this affect Deion? Now, of course, Deion has his own responsibilities at Colorado. You know what I'm saying? And he's improving that program. And I'm pretty sure everybody and their mom and their dad wants to play for him. Let's keep that a bean. You know, as many people coming out of high school. You know, all the top 5 stars want to play for him. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if I'm coming out of high school and I'm a 5-star, Colorado don't look so bad. You know what I mean? It might be a little cold. All right, cool. I'll bubble up. You know what I mean? I'll layer up. You know what I mean? So yeah, Deion has his own responsibilities at Colorado. He's one man, and you know, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he'll shoot his son a text. He'll shoot him a phone call. But being hands on, like this is Shedeur's journey, like straight up and down. This is Shedeur's journey. How does it affect the NFL? Like, I think with the NFL creating a story like this, like, it's gonna boost the NFL. It's actually gonna boost the NFL, simply because the way people. You know what I'm saying? The way the NBA, the way the fans revolved around watching Bronny. Every time Bronny stepped on the court, everybody was like, you know what I'm saying? Right? It's going to be the same energy. It's going to be the same energy. And then, of course, you know, football is only once a week. Right? So, you know, like every Cleveland game, wherever Shedeur is at, people are going to be following. People are going to be watching. The headlines are going to be headlining. You know what I'm saying? The stories are going to be storying, and the press is going to be pressing. And people want to watch this story pan out. They're going to talk, and then Shedeur is prepared for this. He's ready for this. Like everybody who's interviewed him, other than the people, the NFL haters who interviewed him and said his interview was trash. Other than those haters, but everybody who's interviewed him says he's very media trained, right? And so he's prepared for all of this. So he knows what he knows. And like, who better to prepare him than your dad, than Shedeur Sanders? What the fudge? Who better, right? So he's prepared for this. He's going to get so much press and publicity behind this. Like, he's going to be standing on the sidelines, you know what I'm saying, with his hands in his shoulder pads, and every single camera is going to be on him. Like, oh, Shedeur got benched. Look at his face. Oh. Right? But with them doing something like this, with them playing little backdoor games like this, you have to wonder, does winning matter in sports, in professional sports? Does winning matter? Does what matters more, winning or the bottom line? We know. I think I remember Gilbert Arenas. I watch his podcast. He says it all the time. You know, there's only a handful of teams actually trying to win a championship. There's just a small handful, right? And so the other teams are they're just trying to stay in the black. You know what I mean? And of course, you know, business is business. I get that. Sports and entertainment is still business. I get that. You know what I mean? But, you know, does your bottom line mean so much to you that you're willing to go in the red to overlook a second round draft pick, a number two tier quarterback draft? You know what I'm saying? In a low quarterback class? Is your bottom line does your bottom line matter that much to you that you're willing to go in the red for that? You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure the NFL as a organization, as a series of franchises, they're not hurting. You know what I'm saying? They're not like, you know, because of that demographic, because of that conservative middle America type demographic that they cater to. You know what I mean? That's their cash cow, so that they're not hurting, so they can make moves like that. They can take a number 2 prospect draft pick and let them go to the 5th round. They can do things like that and not worry about their bottom line. But it's just very ugly. It's very disgusting, and it's just. And I think going forward, people want to see the Sanders fail, right? But I think more people want to see them win. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna let it sit right there. and tell you how I became the Prince of Bel-Air. Yes. So, with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to this multi-million-dollar podcast. I'm your host, Kev Prosper, the owner and founder of Prosperity U LLC. You are tuned into Love and Money, the podcast of Prosperity U LLC. Thank you for contributing to the Cash App above at $ Prosperity U LLC. Thank you for visiting the website at prosperunlimited.com. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following, and sharing. Remember, we do this every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And remember to invest in the brand Prosperity U LLC. Build wealth, travel boldly, live royally. I'll see you guys next week. It was a good one. Bye.
Or to shop Amazon with Prosperity U LLC. Link in the description.
These are all of my books. My very first book, Leave the Fairy Tales Up at Disney, The Reality of Dating. Haunted Truths, a romance murder mystery set in the heart of Brooklyn during the 1980s, during the height of the crack era. Switch, my romantic comedy. My trilogy, Spirit of the Machine, 1, 2, and 3, sci-fi action thriller. My poem anthology, Red Garden. That is System of the Sun. That's my book on organizational skills. Don't wait till I get rich to buy that book. New Shoes. That's my book on self-esteem, on how to love yourself. Ratchetology. Yes, I'm the ratchetologist. Take my advice. Visit prosperunlimited.com and click travel to book your next vacation.
Do that 50 G and wanna be Fizzy with that butter shit, that's that bone fee. Dizzy double juice, that's that phone team. Fizzy with some butter shit, that's that phone team. If you cheeky check I get her own cheese. And say chicken with that head or just like that won't be with that. A feature with that whole speed. Maybe you just had to wish that with that long speed. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch, If I don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got